All right, you saved up, you planned the trip, you're finally there, and your body picks this moment to go fully on strike. 3 days in, you haven't pooped once, and you're bloated in every photo, lying on a gorgeous hotel bed Googling how to make myself poop. If your gut has ever refused to come on vacation with you, this episode is your pre-trip game plan because travel constipation is incredibly common, totally predictable, and very fixable. In this episode, I'm going to walk you through exactly why your gut gets stuck the second you travel and the simple things you can do before and during a trip to stay regular the whole time. And in case we haven't met yet, my name is Heather. I'm a functional nutritional therapy practitioner. I work with lots of women and men who have tried all sorts of laxatives and supplements to try to poop better. So today we're going to talk about how to actually stay regular while you travel. First of all, let's talk about why travel constipates you. Your gut runs on two things that travel loves to wreck: rhythm and calm nervous system. New time zones and blowing up routines throws off your body clock, and your bowels are on a clock. That's why your best poop usually shows up around the same time every morning. Flying dehydrates you, you move less, sometimes you move a lot more, you eat at weird times, and a lot of us subconsciously hold it in because we don't want to poop in an unfamiliar bathroom, which flips you into fight or flight, and your gut only moves in rest and digest. So travel hits motility from lots of different angles, and the good news is that you can support every single one of them. And here's how. Starting off with the FEFF Foundations Framework. So this is an acronym. I did not come up with this myself, but I'm here to teach it to you because I find it really, really helpful when I teach it to my clients. So first, fluid. Aim for about half your body weight in ounces of water per day. If you weigh more than 200 pounds, you're going to cut it off at 100 ounces. So nothing above 100 ounces a day, typically, unless you have a medical condition that says otherwise, of course. But half your body weight in ounces. So if you're a 140-pound woman, that would be 70 ounces a day, divided throughout the whole day. Now, if you're in a sauna or have some obvious need for extra water, of course, adjust from there. But what kind of water should this be? So I want you to go for spring water if you can. Purified, reverse osmosis, and other types of filtered water sources sometimes remove a lot of the minerals that your body needs to have good bowel movements. So you're also going to get, minerals through your food and things like that, but water is really important. So I actually have a practice of drinking 16 ounces of water every single morning after I brush my teeth and before I have coffee or do anything else. I add electrolytes to mine, but not everyone needs to. Electrolytes are minerals that you need to stay well hydrated, but you can get them again through your diet throughout the day. I just find that I feel more hydrated with electrolyte supplements in my routine. So that's what I do. Another thing that you can add to your electrolytes is vitamin C in the form of ascorbic acid. This has so many benefits, but one of them is actually helping you have a bowel movement. So if you get into a habit of waking up in the morning, having 16 or more ounces of water right away with electrolytes, with vitamin C, that is going to be very supportive of your morning bowel movement routine. As for the timing of fluid intake, try your best to hydrate between meals rather than drinking a lot of your water with meals. Most people digest more comfortably, keeping the bulk of their fluids away from food. Okay, let's talk about exercise. So it's super simple, but just move your body. I think 5,000 to 10,000 steps a day is reasonable for most people. Short walks after meals are also a great way to stabilize your blood sugar. So even just 10 minutes of walking after a meal can do the trick. Now, fruit. About 2 cups of fruit a day is fantastic for bowel movements. My favorites are 2 green kiwi a day. They're well studied for helping with constipation and incomplete evacuation, and red dragon fruit. So either fresh, frozen, or powdered will work, and berries are also wonderful. Now, fiber. My favorite fibers for constipation are ground flax seeds, soaked chia seeds, 1 to 2 tablespoons a day of either of those. And I also really like a product called sun fiber, which is a fiber called partially hydrolyzed guar gum. A lot of research behind this fiber, and it helps with so many different gut-related conditions. But what I also like about it is that it dissolves completely in water with no taste or texture. So it's a great soluble fiber. It helps with bowel movements, and it's generally tolerated by people that have more sensitive guts and things like SIBO going on because it's low FODMAP. We really want to be consistent with all elements of FEFF, fluid, exercise, fruit, and fiber, not only doing them all daily, but at roughly the same time each day. Whether it's the flax, the chia, something like sun fiber, even with the electrolytes, you want to kind of keep these things happening around the same time of day each day so that there's consistent amount of time before you're doing it again. You don't want to do morning one day and then night the next day. Now you have 36 hours between. We want to be consistent with these things. So if you typically do it in the morning, you want to keep doing it in the morning on vacation. This is really important so that you're not doing it in the morning one day, at night the next day, missing it. So how to put all of this together? Maybe you find a local smoothie place that offers flax or chia seeds while you're traveling. Maybe you rent an Airbnb and you have a freezer and a blender so that you can make yourself a little motility smoothie before going out for the day. Or in a pinch, it's not too hard to get disposable water bottles, and you could put 2 spoonfuls of chia seeds into a water bottle, shake it up at night, refrigerate it overnight, and then in the morning, it will have turned into a perfect gel-like consistency. And you can drink that maybe after your electrolytes or after your morning water before you go and have breakfast. Or you could do something very similar with sun fiber if you're working with that. You can portion your sun fiber into little 1-serving Ziploc baggies for your trip and just dump that into your water bottle or coffee or tea or anything that you consume each morning. So these are just a few ideas that come to mind when it comes to how to actually execute these things while you're traveling. And of course, I know it's not as ideal as just doing nothing, but nothing is worse than not pooping on vacation. You will be miserable the entire time. I think that taking 2 or 3 minutes to execute these things is a small price to pay relative to the benefits. Okay, now let's talk about lifestyle pieces that matter just as much. First is meal spacing. So unless you have a medical condition requiring you to eat more often, try to leave 4 to 5 hours between your meals and try to not consistently be snacking. There's a cleaning wave in your gut called the migrating motor complex that only runs when your stomach is empty. So if you're grazing and snacking all day, it never really gets to sweep your intestines clean. Second, and this may seem obvious, but try to go easy on sugar and alcohol. Alcohol slows motility and dehydrates you, and both sugar and alcohol deplete magnesium, which you need for motility. Also, skip any meds that you don't actually need that slow things down, like a post-hangover Advil. Next is sleep. So your gut clock is tied to your sleep clock. So red-eye flights, all-nighters, these things are not going to be doing you any favors when it comes to staying regular on your trip. Schedule your vacation so that you're following somewhat of a routine, even if you're doing new things each day. So that means waking up around the same time, meal times around the same times, bedtime, being consistent, all with a repeatable cadence. Also, plan your days with your gut in mind. Your gut only moves when you feel safe and relaxed. So if you're holding it in all day because you're anxious about a strange bathroom or something like that, your gut starts to shut down. So plan for it. If you're traveling with a partner, maybe that means that you talk to them about it. Tell them that you need a slow morning. It's so much less stressful than secretly white knuckling it the whole trip. Map your days around your rhythm. So if you do like walking around town, a cafe, sightseeing in the morning where there are bathrooms around, then you can save the beach or the longer hike for the afternoon once you've already gone to the bathroom. You could also consider an Airbnb. So I mentioned this before with the whole blender idea, but sometimes Airbnbs versus hotels can give you a lot more privacy. They can be more comfortable. You can have a slower morning, at home before you head out. That alone fixes a lot of people. And if bathroom anxiety is real for you, pick the activity with the easy bathroom access, like a workout class versus renting bikes for the day. You're still getting that movement in, but you're never far from a bathroom, so your nervous system can actually relax. Okay, now let's talk about what you really came for, which are tools to use in a pinch on vacation. So my go-to recommendations are vitamin C in the form of ascorbic acid. I kind of mentioned this earlier. Adding it to electrolytes can be a great move in the morning, or plain water before bed also works. Triphala is a very safe Ayurvedic remedy used for thousands of years. The dosing here has a very broad range, so keep that in mind. This is something to explore prior to travel for sure. Magnesium, not always my favorite long-term solution, but totally fine in a pinch on vacation if you need it and if you know that it works for you. Or you can use a combination of all of them. A lot of my clients do really well with 2 to 4 capsules of a product called the Daily Cleanse before bed, which I'll link in the description for you all. It has a combination of vitamin C, magnesium, tryptophan, and I think aloe. And it comes in capsules, which is really easy to bring on vacation. There are obviously so many other options like Smooth Move Tea or Miralax, but when I had these issues, I hated the cramping and wild unpredictability they caused for me. So these other options are way better, more comfortable, less side effects, in my opinion. But at the end of the day, you need to find what works for you. The key with bowel moving supplements is to dial in your choice and your dosing at home before your trip. So vacation is definitely not the time to go and test out a brand new laxative for the first time. Like, it's definitely not that. Dialing this in should also relieve a bit of your travel anxiety. If you're already worried that you're not going to poop on vacation, that anxiety is also not going to do you any favors. So working these details out as part of your trip planning can really relieve a lot of stress, I think. And one last thing, try not to wait until you're 3 days backed up to start this stuff. This is a game that you win before you leave. So start the fluid, the fiber, the fruit, the movement, the sleep weeks prior to travel. Like, as soon as you know you're going on a trip, start working on these things. Try not to wait until you're in a mid-trip emergency to try and band-aid yourself. Of course, if you found this video and you're already on a trip, do what you need to do. Use whatever of this will be helpful for you in the moment. But if you're watching this before your trip, this is a really good time for you to start with, especially the foundations, that FEFF framework that we went over. And if you're someone who is constipated pretty chronically, like at home too, every week, and this isn't just, a travel thing for you and no amount of kiwi fully fixes that, maybe you've already been to a gastroenterologist and you've been told that you just have IBS, but you want to explore long-term options besides taking laxatives forever. That's what we help people with one-on-one in our Gut Health Glow Out program. So this is designed to help you dive deeper into what's actually happening in your microbiome so that we can help you eat, dress, and live with freedom again. DM me on Instagram to talk through whether or not that's the right next step for you, or head to the link in the description. And if you want, I have a free constipation mini guide that I'll put the info for down below as well. And if you found this episode helpful, liking it tells the platform to share it with other people who are searching for help with motility as well. So you can support them finding this info, and you can support the channel by giving it a thumbs up anytime. That's all for this episode. I'll talk to you on the next one. Bye.